EV training in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet has never been easier, and with raids, rematches, and competitive battles, there has never been more reasons to train your Pokemon's EVs either. Every Pokemon has both EVs and IVs. EVs stand for effort value, and you can think of this like your Pokemon's experience of training in battles, like how someone who trains in weightlifting is going to build different muscles to someone who trains in sprinting. IV stands for individual value. You can think of this of like a Pokemon's genetics. Both of these stats are different from Pokemon to Pokemon, even of the same level and species, and can make one Pokemon inherently stronger. So how can we use EVs to make our Pokemon the best it can be? First off, you want to pick your Pokemon. Don't just think about what the Pokemon is now, but think about what it will become. For example, your EV may specialize in different stats depending on whether you're going to evolve it into a Jolteon, Flareon, or a Vaporeon, or of the different moves you want it to learn. If you're about to train a Sprigatito, think about what you want when it's a Meowscarada. For me, I've chosen this Garchomp that I've just caught. When you first catch or hatch a Pokemon, its EVs will be at 0, which means it's a blank canvas for us to mold into our perfect Pokemon. If you've already battled with your Pokemon, or if you received it in a trade and unsure whether it has EVs or not, there are ways to reset your stats to square 1. We'll go over that a little bit later on. So don't worry, your best buddy starter Pokemon that took over Paldea with you doesn't have to be replaced. So, we have our Pokemon. Now what? At this part, I would recommend searching on Cerebi to see what your Pokemon excels at. This is a rule of thumb, and there may be outliers to certain species of Pokemon, or certain roles you want them to play. Here, we can see that Garchomp's best stat is its physical attack, but that's definitely one we're going to want to EV train. We only have a limited amount of EVs that we can give to a Pokemon, with being 510 in total, with a maximum of 252 per stat. This means we can max out 2 stats with sprinkling left over, or a mishmash of relevant stats, but most of the time, we want to do the former. So for our boy Garchomp, we're going to train him in attack and speed, and throw the leftovers into HP once we're done. You don't want to EV train every stat, as you'll end up with a Pokemon who is average at everything, even the stats that it's not using, instead of a Pokemon that's perfect in things it does use. For example, our Garchomp doesn't need special attack because it's only going to be using physical. Get yourself to Delibird presence in any major city, select general goods, and scroll down until you find the items that look like rings. Each one will have a different stat it will train. For example, the Power Bracer will increase attack, but this is one we should get for our Garchomp, although I'd recommend at least buying one of each of these. The great thing about the EXP share is that a whole party will gain EVs. So if Garchomp's buddy Gyarados wants to train his attack as well, you can hold a Power Bracer too, and you can train them both at once. If we buy 6 Power Bracers, we could train a whole party of Pokemon in attack. This also means that if you've just hatched a new Pokemon, you can still EV train it by putting another stronger Pokemon first in your party to do the heavy lifting. Whether your Pokemon is wearing a power item or not, it will still gain EVs, just fewer of them. So, if you have a Pokemon who doesn't want the stat you are training, put them back in your box for now. Keep them as the blank canvas we want them to be. So, if I wanted to train Special Attack, which, like we said before, will not be useful for Garchomp, we best remove him from the party for now. Once your Pokemon is holding a power item, it's actually time to do the training. Right now, our Garchomp has a Power Bracer attached, so we need to find him some wild Pokemon that will train his EV stat. Here are some of the best choices for each stat, including some version exclusives that you can get your training done that little bit faster. The Pokemon you're looking for doesn't spawn that often. For example, if you're looking for Chansey to train EV in HP, you can make a sandwich with the corresponding encounter power to make it appear more frequently. Generally, you'll want to knock out 26 of the species of Pokemon to max out that stat. So for Garchomp, we're going to battle 26 Primates first. That will give us attack EVs we need. After that, we'll replace the Power Blazer with the Power Anklet and KO 26 Jump Bluffs. Give him his speed EVs. You can tell when you're done by checking in your Pokemon's summary. If the stat is sparkling, then congratulations, you're done with the stat. If you're going a split build, this gets a little trickier, but you can still see how far along you are on the page. We're going to finish off Garchomp by knocking out a few Chanseys to put his final EVs into HP. Bear in mind that you actually have to encounter the Pokemon and knock it out that way. Auto-battling will not grant you EV. If you run into the wrong Pokemon, don't worry, you can just run away and carry on KOing your target. As long as you don't knock out that Pokemon, you won't mess up your Pokemon's EVs, which is very nice because it means you can still catch things like shinies without ruining your progress. If you do accidentally KO the wrong Pokemon, there are berries that you can use to undo any mistakes, so don't fret too much. We have an easier time if you avoid that in the first place. This is also what you want to do if your Pokemon already has some EVs that you don't want. You can find out more about those EV reducing berries in my video, which I'll link in the description. You can also use vitamins that you have found along the way or purchased at the Chansey supply store to do the same thing. Instead of knocking out 26 Primates, I could feed my Garchomp 26 proteins. Bear in mind that is only the one stat. You'll need to buy 53 vitamins per Pokemon to fully EV train it this way. The price can rack up very quickly. But if you've been mining mad nuggets from raids and you want that new Berserker perfect, the raid you and your buddies are going to do in 5 minutes, it's a great way to get a new Pokemon ready in a pinch. That's about all you need to know for training EVs in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Obviously, your IVs, your natures, and your abilities of the Pokemon are very important when building them as well. However, they're very easily adjusted in the new games, and we'll go over them in the next video. Hope this was useful, thank you for watching. You can check out one of my last videos over here. Here are your recommended videos. Thank you so much for watching the video. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. If you guys do want to go the extra mile and support these weekly uploads, we do have a Patreon. The link is down below. All proceeds go toward future projects.